Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Avengers issue 47. And I enjoyed this issue. We pretty much see the fallout of the Winter Guard pretty much trying to get Jennifer and how she's pretty much transformed into their version of the Winter Hulk. And I kind of liked how this started out because we saw that the Avengers are like, we're not taking this shit line down. One of us got taken. So we see that it centers on in the beginning a kind of old Soviet era military compound that was pretty much abandoned but has now been repurposed for the Winter Guard. We see that Cap and Iron Man pretty much come in this kind of camo gear. They got like wolf Spetsnaz guys pretty much guarding everything, but Iron Man uses his like iron sniper mode and is able to take them out as they're pretty much busting through and shifting into a better kind of camo mode. We then see that they're also talking to their quote-unquote air cavalry going on, and that there's another third team as well, so the Avengers are really going ham for going in to save Jen. And we see that Cap, of course, is worried about her, and so is Tony, and they're just trying to talk themselves through it as we then shift over and we see that Red Widow is still trying to kind of get into her headspace and try and mess with her, as we see what we think is Jen kind of smashing through the whole area and then finding some ballerinas who then have spiders on their faces, and some of them have Winter Soldier arms and shit as they're attacking her. And we see that Boss Talk is using himself to pretty much mess with her, and Red Widow is kind of perturbed that she's been in this what they call a mind oven for a week and hasn't broken, whereas when she was doing it, she was put in there, she was killing puppies and drinking their insides. And they're talking about how Jen's mental fortitude is greater than what they thought, and Red Widow's putting it more as a weakness, that she's trying to hide from something and everything, that she's not as savage and crazy as she's led everybody to believe, and that the radiation in her brain just by itself, if that was unleashed, would make the area uninhabitable for 2,000 years. So it's okay, you guys should be better understanding what's kind of going on with this thing. So they're pretty much kind of doing that, as we then see that Iron Man and Steve run into Crimson Dynamo and Vanguard, and of course Crimson Dynamo is trying to call for help from the rest of the Russian government, but of course they took that shit down on lock. Pretty much most of the shit was from 1985, and Tony's just pretty much verbally ripping the dude apart with yeah, your tech shit is not on point, man. And we actually see that they kind of switch people that they're fighting, where Cap goes after Crimson Dynamo and does a pretty good job of handling him, while Iron Man is handling Vanguard. So they're able to call in their air cavalry, Captain Marvel, and she's kind of pretty much coming through. Darkstar tries to intercept her, but she calls for an airstrike from Thor, who pretty much uses his lightning and Mjolnir to take her out as she busts through. And Red Widow's okay, I kind of need some weapons. Boss Talk is able to provide her with some pistols, and she tries to go after Captain Marvel to at least delay her for the winter process for Jen to be more completed. And she actually starts using the guns, and Marvel's what the fuck are you doing? Those bullets aren't going to do anything on me. They're not bullets. And Boss Talk pretty much captures her a little bit, and she's hey, is everything good? And he's yeah, I pretty much got the eggs laid and everything. But then Jen goes nuts and freaking melts him with a gamma breath beam, kind of Godzilla style. And at that point, Captain Marvel's able to be up hey, fuck you, man, and is pretty much taking Red Widow down, and she calls for their Hulk to pretty much go after Iron Man and Captain America, but doesn't get through completely calling them all the way. And we then see that Jen busts out, pretty much does a giant punch to Crimson Dynamo, sending him flying, and we see that she pretty much almost kills Vanguard and then gets away. And we had seen that Captain Marvel had pretty much dealt with Red Widow and had her kind of strung up and knocked out with a finger flip. But She-Hulk pretty much escapes at that point. Cap and Iron Man are kind of like, whoa, what the fuck is going on with Jen here? Now, granted, they are trying to help her, but they're like, what the hell? She's in the wild. Pretty much gets on the horn with Thor to try and track her and everything, and that they need to ride back to the mountain. And of course, that's where Ghost Rider shows up, like, yeah, you need a ride? We see that in their thing, they pretty much are trying to help the Winter Guard that kind of got fucked up. Help and capture the Winter Guard that's gotten fucked up. And Tony's able to find the melted boss dog. Was like, oh god, this is pretty bad. We need to kind of get this on point. They try and see where Red Widow is, but she like ripped her arm off and escaped, talking with someone that she refers to as Excellency, and that their Winter Hulk is going after their target, as we see that Jen is red in the kind of thing that we've seen in the previews. She's red. She got kind of like a white suit that's kind of reminiscent of Black Widow stuff with blonde hair and everything radiating green gamma energy. So it's like, interesting. Who's her target? Who's this Excellency person? And what are their objectives and everything? I'm like, okay, these are some pretty interesting answers. We got some nice movement on the plot front. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird, but I'm interested to see kind of where this goes from here. And how they are going to get Jennifer back on their side. And how they're... what the process is going to be of helping to fix her from and deprogram her from this Winter Soldier programming. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.